Hey folks, it's Abby from Abby of Pellinor. I have read more 2024 releases than any other year so far this year, and I don't know how, but I'm having a good time with it, so who cares? So I thought I would go through each and every book that I've read from this year so far. So let's just dive straight in. First up, How to Solve Your Own Murder by Kristen Perrin. This is one that I got from NetGalley, and it was fine. Then we have A Tempest of Tea by Hafsa Faisal. I adored this so much. I listened to the audiobook via NetGalley, and then the wonderful Caitlin from Letters from Grimready gifted me this beautiful hardback edition that I adore it so much. It's a Waterstone special edition, and I'm very happy to have it. Then next was another audiobook from NetGalley, and that was The Patient by Terry Terry. I thought that was going to be a win. I love Terry Terry's YA. This is her first adult book. Did not like it. 2 stars. Then 3 books from Heather E. Schwartz. They are non-fiction, tiny little audiobooks, like half an hour long, all about various different medical things. So one is Vaccine Breakthroughs, the other is Medical Artificial Intelligence Breakthroughs, and Medical Robotics Breakthroughs. Those are all fine. I gave them like 2.5 stars, 3 stars, nothing wrong with them. They were interesting little reads. I was interested to review them, I was curious, but nothing I'd recommend. Then a book that I have since unhauled. It wasn't awful, it just wasn't for me, and that is Maude Horton's Glorious Revenge by Lizzie Pook. There was a lot of potential here and it didn't quite live up to it, and my shelves are at bursting point, so I gave this one to someone else. An ebook that I got from NetGalley, and that is She Who Knows Firespitter by Nnedi Okorafor. As always, I give everything Nnedi Okorafor writes 5 stars. She is a fantastic author. Another highly rated one, and this one was an audiobook instead from NetGalley. Are you seeing a theme here? And that is The Rediscovery of America by Ned Blackhawk. This is a non-fiction that is all about the actual history of Indigenous peoples actually being told alongside the history of the immigrants and the colonisers of the United States. This was really interesting as someone who is British and doesn't really know that much history about the US. Great way to learn it for the first time is to actually include the Indigenous folks in with that. The Poisons We Drink by Bethany Baptiste unfortunately wasn't my fave. I really wanted it to be, especially with all of the hatred that she's been through online. It wasn't for me. I think partly because it's YA, and that's on me. That's 100% on me. But it is a really fun book. I just wanted more from the potions, and yeah. This one is 100% on me. I think most of the problem is that it's YA and I am not a young adult, and that's not the book's fault. So unfortunately I didn't love this one. I did love A Mind Full of Murder by Derek Landy. No one is surprised that I loved a Skullduggery Pleasant book. Like, this is just obvious that it's going to be on here. If one releases, it will be a 5-star. Then I read Beyond Fragility. I need the notes of the names of this one because there's 3 authors. We have Tara McCauley, PhD, Natalie Watson-Singleton, PhD, and Danielle Dawson, MA. This was a non-fiction all about racism, and it's actioning these points, and I feel like it would have been much better to read it physically rather than on ebook, because being able to switch back between the pages would have been much easier that way. And I also think that they use too many acronyms. Acronyms are fantastic for learning, but when you've got like 10 in a book and like each chapter is around an acronym, it's a lot to try and keep in your brain. Then I read a book that I'm going to pronounce wrong, and I'm very sorry. Sheine Lende by Darcy Littlebadger. This is the prequel to Elatsue. I adored Elatsue. This one was still good, I just didn't adore it quite as much. Then I read Can't Spell Treason Without Tea by Rebecca Thorne. Technically not published in 2024, but it's being trad published in 2024. This was originally an indie book. Loved that one. And then I only have 3 of them left, but I got 5 comics from Forbidden Planet for Free Comic Book Day. The other 2 comics that I read, I ended up giving to my mother, who works in a primary school, and those 2 will be so much more appreciated there and may inspire the children to read more, so they're in a better home. Then The Book of Doors by Gareth Brown. This is a Goldsboro book, and you have books that contain magic and allow you to use magical abilities, and one of them lets you go through doors to anywhere in the world that you want. I had a lot of fun with this one. It wasn't perfect, but a solid 4-star read. Elusive by Genevieve Cogman is the 2nd book in the Scarlet series about the French Revolution with vampires. And now magic? Having a great time with this series. So excited for the 3rd and final work. Spirits Abroad by Zen Cho is my 2nd Zen Cho book, and has confirmed that I adore her with my entire heart. She's fantastic. It's a collection of short stories. It's beautiful, all inspired by Southeast Asian and Malaysian specific folklores and mythology. Then The Lantern of Lost Memories by Senaka Hiragi. oh my god, this was another NetGalley read and it was absolutely beautiful. It was recommended to me because I had adored Before the Coffee Gets Cold, and oh my gosh, was it a good recommendation. This is a beautiful book. If you like Before the Coffee Gets Cold and other books like it, you are going to love The Lantern of Lost Memories. Another one that isn't technically a release from this year, but that is the Mime order, the author's preferred text. I think actually these were releasing this year, but obviously this is a re-release. Anyway, regardless, this is when Broken Binding came out with it, and I, 5 stars, 5 stars, 5 stars. Penultimate, Running Close to the Wind by Alexandra Rowland. This was a blog tour book that I got from the publisher's tour. This one I had a very mixed feeling, mixed emotions with that book. And then the final book, which I gave 5 stars, was also from a publisher, but this one is W&N, and this is The Missing Thread by Daisy Dunn. It's a non-fiction all about women in ancient Greece and ancient Rome, and I adored it. It was so good. Brilliantly researched, absolutely beautiful book. And these are all the ones that I own, but it's not all the ones that I read. I think I did fairly well, but there's a lot there that I've read electronically in some form or another, but so far, it's been a very interesting 2024. Please let me know what your favourite book that you have read so far from 2024 is. I don't know how to pick because there are a few 5 stars in this stack. I feel like it's safest to go with like the Mime order because I've loved that for a few years now. But like, this was a 5 star as well. There's more. The Lantern of Lost Memories. So yeah, there's a few. Let me know what your favourite was down below in the comments. Subscribe if you'd like to see what books I will read in the second half of 2024, and I will see you folks in the next video. Bye!